What's happening, people? Welcome back to the upper tier after a crazy weekend of football watch-alongs, wrestling shows, fantastic interviews and all the rest. Make sure you join us tomorrow night for Pro Wrestling Weekly. We will take you back through the bones of Night of Non-Champions. We will discuss the changes and the moves and how it might play out and where it's going to go as we head on the road to Minneapolis for SummerSlam. How that's all going to fare out. We do have a little stop off on the way called Saturday night's main event, but make sure you tune in tomorrow night. We'll also discuss the fallout from Raw, what's going to happen there and everything else. Where do we see Punk fitting in? Where do we see Cody going now? What's going to happen with Gunther and Nick Aldis? But we want to talk today about the interview with Paul Heyman on Chris Van Vliet. Everyone knows the podcast that we're big fans of Chris Van Vliet and his podcast. It's really, really good. He's very, very good as a host. He asks some fantastic questions. And listen, Paul Heyman is one of those guys where if you have him on your podcast, you don't need to ask a whole lot, really. He's kind of like Jim Cornette. If you give him a couple of questions, you get it. This is your life. No doubting Paul Heyman's greatness in the business, in terms of his mind for the business, in terms of the inner workings of the business, in terms of the business from the merch stand to the main event of WrestleMania. No doubting it. This was a fantastic interview. You know, he spoke about his health coming out of WrestleMania and how he gives so much in the build-up to WrestleMania that it literally just makes him ill. It was a fantastic insight. He also spoke about, you know, what drives Paul Heyman on, and he spoke about the Rolling Stones. Why do they still write music? Why do they still go on tour? It's the dopamine hit, it's the addiction to it and all that. He spoke about Clint Eastwood at 90 plus years of age, still directing movies that are Academy Award levels and all that kind of stuff. So it was very interesting to hear some of these insights. He spoke about Brock Lesnar being the absolute ultimate athlete on the planet. Spoke about the streak and, how he puts these little things together. And how all these little, he's known as the master of the small things, the small detail. But all that small detail elevates the big detail and the big idea, the big payoff, the big moment into a much bigger moment. It's like a crescendo when you hit that moment and all the other build-up of it. We've seen it time and time again throughout the bloodline. We've seen it when Brock broke the streak. We've seen it on so many different levels. His work with Roman Reigns is second to none. I mean, he's been the right-hand man, if you want to call it, of Brock Lesnar throughout his career, and being very important to it. We even seen it this year at WrestleMania 42 with the retirement, how they sold that and put it together, and the moment that it was, and it was one of those kind of surreal moments. I was at it. It was very emotional, and then we kind of find out that it was kind of like them just kind of jigging around with TKO contractually wise and stuff like that and all. But in the moment, it seemed like a very special moment, both of them in the ring and stuff like that. He also spoke about like the dopamine hit that you get from the business. Nothing can compare to it except your private time with your kids, the time you spend with your kids and stuff like that. And that's a huge statement from, we know from various documentaries and interviews what family life to him means now and stuff like that, and all so important. But there's so many great aspects to this interview. You could talk about it all day. Basically, the stuff that he touches on is phenomenal, and it's a great insight. And I love these interviews as well, because Paul Heyman is brilliant that way. Kind of a little bit like when you used to watch the old Raven interviews, like the Secrets of the Ring and stuff like that. No, he really gives you a very good insight into how he collaborates with people, and how he wants to make stuff feel substantive and important and huge and big and all that kind of stuff. But how he pieces it together, where's the starting point, where have they to finish up, and how do they get there, and what are all the little pieces, what are the little pieces in this jigsaw that when they come together it becomes like a Picasso basically. And that's kind of what he was alluding to, that all these little pieces. And then he said he's not a very good actor, which was an interesting one. And obviously Chris stopped him there straight away. He says, you're a phenomenal actor, stuff like that. And he says, well, I'm kind of a method actor and stuff like that. And I think that's more, those little parts of the interview are really cool as well, because I think it's kind of like, I think that's Paul Heyman nearly leading the house down the road. You know, if you're in denial of something that you're really good at, that's how you work the house into promoting you rather than promoting yourself, you know. Really, really interesting. Kind of reverse psychology in terms of this show, you know. But yeah, really, really cool. Great interview. Should definitely catch it. You know, when Paul Heyman speaks, we do all listen. But it was interesting to hear about it, and you know, just the levels and how things work within the business and all. And you know, he had a lot of different conversations about different things and stuff. So I'm not going to give you the whole breakdown of the interview and stuff like that. Go and watch it, because as I said, when this man speaks, people should pull up a chair and listen. And that's what I do anyway, you know. So but yeah, just a little quick one on it. I thought it was really, really cool. Chris Van Vliet, of course, knocking it out of the park these days with the interview. It was absolutely phenomenal. Anto, who does be in the chat on the podcast, got to meet him over, I think it was at SmackDown or Raw, I'm not too sure, in London. Said he was an absolute gent. I'm not surprised. I would expect nothing less. But yeah, check it out. Paul Heyman on the Chris Van Vliet podcast. Absolutely phenomenal. Folks, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button. Talk to you again real soon. We do have a watch along tonight as well. I'll post it up once I get in. You'll see all the watch alongs will go up today for this week. What we're going to try and fit in, plus Pro Wrestling Weekly. You never know, you might even get a match, a combination of a watch along stroke SmackDown watch along. Let's see what happens. Until then, talk to you real soon. Have a good Monday. Kick off the week. Go out there, grab it by the balls and make it happen. Talk to you real soon.